Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Transform Your Life podcast. This week, it's a little bit different because I am sharing the recording of my most recent masterclass all around clutter and the connection between the internal and external clutter and the real reasons why your space stays cluttered and why organizing may not actually stick. I talk about how physical clutter drains your mental energy, blocks your visibility, and sabotages your sales if you're an entrepreneur. I talk about the hidden connection between ADHD, overwhelm, and avoidance cycles because, when there's clutter, it means we have a lot of tiny decisions to make. I also talk about the mindset shifts that helps you to stop overthinking and finally take the first steps to tackling your clutter. I share professional home organizing hacks that I've been using for 9+ years as a home organizer. And hopefully by the end of the class, you'll have some clarity around clutter, why it's showing up in your life, and the link between your emotional, mental, and physical clutter. So I hope this helps if you know of anyone who could benefit from listening to this masterclass and send it over to them. And if you ended up getting any value from it, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook at _Cass Henry, and I would love to hear. Anyways, without further ado, enjoy the show. Beautiful. I always love to start off with asking you guys where you're from and why it is that you joined tonight's call, because you could have been doing literally anything else. And feel free to unmute or put it in the chat. Totally up to you for a small group.
Where are you from, Kim? I'm from Ottawa, rural South. Yeah, I'm here because I'm terribly cluttered.
Yeah. Welcome, Kim. Thank you so much for being here. And Shaylee.
Yeah, I like to say that I'm from Ottawa Gatineau, but I live in Elmer, Quebec. But born, raised, and schooled everything in Ottawa. And our paths crossed many years ago, and you helped me out a while back. And since then, my life has just become a little bit cluttered and I feel like a bit suffocating. Yeah, I just literally registered like maybe an hour ago.
Oh, amazing.
So I thought, oh, this comes at the perfect time.
Yeah. Don't hesitate to ask any specific questions. I've made this workshop to be more so as an awareness, an opportunity for you to start asking yourself some questions. Because if I just go ahead and say, go and do very specific things in your space, I don't want to bombard you with information about the how to's and the go do's and should do's. We get that enough on social media posts and all of that. I find sometimes just the thought provoking things can move us into action even more when we're like, why am I doing this to begin with? Actually, Kim is a one-to-one client of mine and we're working on clutter, but we're not even touching clutter for probably the majority of the time that we're working together, the physical clutter that is, because if we're looking at physical clutter and we realize it's not just randomly disappearing and we're not putting in the work right away to get rid of it, it means that it's more than just the clutter, or the clutter is there because of a specific reason. So going and telling you all these tips and tricks to declutter and organize your home won't be as effective if we don't figure out why it's there to begin with. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, amazing. So I do have a few slides to share. Hello, Carrie. I just want to, of course, say thank you guys for being here. Are any of you entrepreneurs?
I'm self employed.
Yeah, Kim, you're self-employed? Okay. And do any of you have ADHD, the ones that are watching right now? Maybe. A lot of us are doing self-diagnosed. A lot of us are doing the self-diagnosing things these days. So I am one of those. I asked my doctor to diagnose me. Let me just see. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure that you can see. Yeah, you can see the screen from Clutter to Cash. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, don't mind the title. That's what I thought originally that this was going to be about was ultimately when you get rid of clutter in your home, the sky's the limit. If your goal is to make more money, then by getting rid of clutter, it will help you make more money as a byproduct by making more space. Universe, God, whatever it is that you essentially believe in, might look at your space and be like, she obviously has enough. Like she can only handle so much. I can't possibly give her more. How would she be able to handle more? So whatever it is that you believe in, I mean, when I was in the world of dating and these spiritual coaches would be like, if you want to manifest a partner, clear out part of your closet, or else you're saying there's no room for a man in your life or a partner in your life. You've taken up all of the space. Little things like that. Not everyone is gonna buy into that kind of stuff, but if you know me well enough, I love all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna read this verbatim. It's just I'm Cass. I'm the host, obviously, of tonight's call. I'm a podcast host. I've been doing professional home organizing for the last 9 years. And what I've come to realize is clutter doesn't just exist in our physical space, it exists in our mind and our emotions as well. And I had felt so frustrated because I'm like, there's a big gap here. But when I try and explain it, I feel misunderstood. So it's only now that I'm actually able to really bridge the gap through understanding, through doing years of organizing and having these intimate conversations with my client. When I realize, holy smokes, yes, we're focusing on the physical clutter together. But in session, we're doing a lot of the emotional clutter and the beliefs that are holding them back, and the fears and the worries and everything that's happening in their lives, which is causing, I like to call it situational clutter because their mind and their emotions are cluttered as well. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Beautiful. So I have an inner circle community. It's a group community that I host calls every single week in there. Kim is a part of that community. And I do like vision board workshops. I help people declutter their homes, and I also offer one-to-one coaching because I love getting to know people in that intimate way because I can help you really get to the root of why this has been a problem. So that's me. I'm the mom. I'm a dog mom, and I just really love human beings and helping them live a happy, fulfilled life because we get one. So why not make it really great? Of course, the best way to get the most out of this time that we had together is to put your phone on silent if you have it and just give yourself the gift of being present. We're here for 45 minutes. Take notes, ask questions if you have any, and just playful out. So the both of you have already said why you're here today, so we'll skip over that. If anything comes up during it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's another reason why I showed up today, then feel free to drop it in the chat. I'd love to read that. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to give you like a cleaning checklist or a to-do list in this exact order to go and declutter your space because I don't know what your space looks like. So me telling you start here and go do that, it just wouldn't make sense. Everything is situational. Everything is based on that specific person. I like to get to know people, get to know you, how your brain works, how your mind works, what your goals are. And so, whenever you're going to approach your space, before you even start to declutter, if you haven't been able to tackle your clutter up until now, I invite you to just stop and re get to know yourself. Why? How did your clutter get here? It's if you gained a lot of weight and you want to embark on losing weight. You're not just gonna some people might, but the majority of us aren't just gonna automatically cut out sugar for the rest of their lives and eliminate all the bad habits and work out really well without fail. They're gonna stop it and ask themselves, okay, like, how did I even get here? What was happening in my life that caused the weight gain? What contributed to it? What did I do to contribute to it? What do I want instead? And then the more you build on that, you create a vision, you create a strong why statement, you you sit in the pain a little bit. You already are. If your space is cluttered and your mind is cluttered, you're obviously feeling the pain and the struggle of it. But it's good to really ask yourself, how is this really causing me pain and struggle? Because you can use that as fuel and momentum to drive you towards the goal that you actually have. So your clutter isn't random. Okay. There's a reason it's there. And as I'm sure it drains your productivity and your focus, Who here feels that it causes your productivity and focus to go down? Yeah, for sure. And there's deeper reasons why clutter keeps coming back. Kind of if you lose a bunch of weight and the weight comes back and maybe even more afterwards, there's something there. A lot of people say, oh, I just don't have enough willpower or discipline. No, sometimes it's actually we're sabotaging ourselves because of a specific reason. So we'll chat about that a little bit tonight. But like I said, a lot of this is very personalized to the person. I can share stories and examples, and you might identify with those. But at the end of the call, I'd love to offer all of you a 30-minute strategy session just to start to begin to hash out why the clutter showing up in my life? Why haven't I been able to get rid of it up until now? And how can I move forward in that direction? So, have any of you decluttered and then the clutter kind of came back? Have you done a full purge before? And it's like, what? I thought I got rid of all this. Yeah. Have any of you bought pretty baskets and bins and thought that will make me organized? Yeah, maybe. So, yeah. Sometimes I'll have clients and they'll go out and they'll buy bags full organizing containers. And they'll go out and they'll buy them and they'll come home and they'll get home and they'll drop the bag down. They'll walk away from the bag. And that's that. Sometimes the bins just stay in the bag forever. It was really great intention and they got to completion and going out and buying the containers, but the containers aren't just going to randomly fill themselves. And they're helpful, but they're not the starting point. Do any of you have junk drawers or entire rooms that you avoid? Yeah. Do you ever wonder why it's so hard to let go? Yeah. And do any of you feel overwhelmed and just don't know where to start?
I feel like you have a camera in my house.
That's definitely not the first time I heard that, Kim.
And definitely, you would not want me to turn the camera around or even beside me
Yeah.
or in my bedroom
Uh,
or down the hallway.
but I'm glad you guys are here because obviously this is landing. Like I said, it's not because you're lazy. It could be because of many things, but today we're going to talk about a few common myths that we've been told about clutter and why it might be keeping you stuck. And again, if you have any specific questions you'd like for me to answer about your space, please drop it in the chat because I guarantee you if you are wondering it, then someone else also has the same question. You're in the right place and you're feeling overwhelmed with your clutter in your life and in your space. You don't know where to start. Maybe you have big dreams and goals, but you're having trouble chasing them because of the clutter. And perhaps you get inspired and motivated and start taking action, but fall off the horse and realize another year has gone by and you're still living the same year. Or perhaps you have trouble finding the motivation to begin with. You see the problem around you and you look at it and you want to change, but the change just isn't happening yet. Of course, this call tonight is not for you if every area of your life is seemingly perfect and you have no need to improve any of it. Talk to me if that is you, because surely not many people out there like that. This is not for you if you're not willing to go inward to discover the hard truths about yourself. Clutter is always talking to you, so it's such a gift to be able to listen and open up. And this, of course, is not for you if you're not willing to put in the work to create the life that you absolutely love, waking up to each day and breaking free from everything that's standing in your way. So, you guys are here for the right reasons. Oh, I like that. There's fireworks in my camera. Beautiful. So, does anyone here believe that you need pretty baskets and bins to get organized? Hands up if you feel that way. No?
Nope.
Okay, great. Because many people do. And if anyone is watching the replay and that is them, then I gotta break it to you that it's been solved your clutter problem. You wouldn't be here tonight, which is why they're not here. Do any of you feel like The clutter that you can't see doesn't really bother you. Oh, if you can't see, it's not really a problem. Or do you still feel and know it's there behind closed doors and in the drawers?
Always.
Yeah. Are any of you, I'm an out of sight, out of mind person, so I need it all out so I can see what I have.
That's me.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Do you believe that decluttering is only about being organized? Just everything you have, it's fine. Just organize it. No, definitely not. It's not just about where things go, it's about why you're keeping them and why they keep coming back into your life. Of course, number 4 probably isn't for you guys because if you felt you could just do it all on your own, then I don't think you would be on this call. Clutter isn't a stuff problem, it's an inner pattern problem. We can typically predict our patterns based off of a couple things. And it's really cool because when you start to figure out the patterns that are causing your results in your life, we can change them. Yay! Do any of you feel like you just don't have the time to tackle your clutter? Time is a reality. But the thing is, the clutter is actually stealing your time. So it's like a double edged sword. I don't have the time to deal with it, but it's actually taking a lot of time from me. Maybe you're losing items. Maybe you're losing items and you have to go rebuy the items that's taking your time. And also, if you're someone who clutter takes up space in your mind, that can be causing you to numb out, avoid, and do other things that you might do when you're feeling overwhelmed by the physical clutter. Does that make sense? Yeah. So these are myths. Not all of them resonate with you, and I didn't think that they would. Of course, if bins worked, then you wouldn't be here, but the ones that believe bins will fix all didn't show up to the call. If hiding things solved it, then your junk drawer or your basement or your clutter wouldn't haunt you or keep you up at night. And if doing it all alone worked, then it still wouldn't be a problem. We'll get to the bottom of this. Do you want to drop in the chat where specifically your clutter is a problem? Or if you want to say it out loud, there's just a few of us, so that works as well. Okay. Office. When it comes to your office, is it more so paperwork? Is it the drop all zone? I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just going to drop it in the office. Yeah, as you're looking around.
Yeah, I'm looking around because I'm just like, it's this weird, it's the most disjointed place of my head. And it's just, it becomes like this weird drop area. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's got the door that you can just shut. Sometimes it's where I also put my laundry to be folded. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you work in there every day?
I wish I was able to work remotely, but I go into the office maybe 3 days a week.
Okay. And when you are meant to be home, do you work in the office or is that like a goal?
No, I work here in this room that I'm in.
Yeah. How does a clutter impact you when you walk in and you're ready to start work? How does it feel when there's all of that?
The problem is like my working space, which is here, is all the way like close to the window. So I have to walk past like a futon that has usually like laundry, clothes that I want to donate, just like doom piles everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm going into this because why not? Telling you all these things on slides isn't the most helpful thing if we could just get to it. There's doom piles. Okay, close to donate. Is this a common thing? Do you ever get it to a space that you're like, oh my gosh, I love this? Or is it like fairly in turbulence in a way with doom piles?
This I feel is like a cycle, and it's a weird cycle because it goes prolonged periods where it's like really clean and tidy, and
Oh,
I've done the work.
I can't hear what you said, Sheila, after you said it's a cycle.
Oh, it's a cycle. It Can you not
I
hear me
can't
now?
hear you. Kim, can you talk to see if I can hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
But you can't hear me.
it's just
I can
mine.
hear you
Sorry.
too.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
hear either of you. Let me see what I can do here. Bear with me here a second. That's strange. Can one of you speak?
Nothing changed.
No. How about now?
You're still there.
Oh,
Well,
Hello.
I
Where'd you go?
can you see
Right.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the slide that I have?
No.
Okay, I'll go back and share that. Technology sometimes. Can you see it now?
It's just coming out.
Can you see
But
the
yeah.
yeah,
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So you said it's a cycle. Do you mind repeating what you said because you know the cycle? What did you say the cycle was?
It's a cycle. It just becomes almost like a pattern in my life when things aren't usually the best is when this all accumulates. Like I know that I'm gonna get out of it, but I just feel like I've been in this one for a bit of time,
Mm,
almost in a like a holding pattern.
yeah.
yeah. What somebody sees in the house is basically how my mind is working. Like it's all the same sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Our clutter is speaking to us. So I like to say, I tend to ask people, is it situational clutter or is it chronic? Is it chronically there or do you see it in cycles? I know you said, Sheely, it's in cycles when things in your life aren't going status quo, if you will. So this is helpful because we can see the cycle. Now, seeing the cycle and knowing the cycle isn't always the same as being able to then change it, but at least once you become aware of it, then you can start to take the steps. A lot of times we can consciously make change, but there might be something that's happening underneath that needs to be shifted in order to make that lasting change. Do you want to create change so that it's not in this cycle?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. All right. We'll continue on and I'll probably have some follow-up questions for you guys. And otherwise, we can always talk about this specifically in a mini strategy call after. Okay. Oftentimes people will buy the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, or watch Get Sorted, or look at all these pretty pictures of perfectly organized pantries and spaces. Have any of you done that? Bought the book, watched the shows, binged the photos.
oh yeah. And then watch the hoarders on TV as well and any kind of clips or reels,
Yeah.
you name it.
I know sometimes people will watch the hoarding shows just so they can say, my space isn't so bad after all.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we look at things to compare ourselves to say, oh, I'm doing much better than that. Or, oh, I'm not doing so great. It goes both ways. Organizing containers does help. So if you've gone through and you've decluttered everything, that's absolutely step one. Step two is to sort things into categories. So even if there are things that you want to keep, now we're going into a little bit of strategy, but at the end of the day, it's all mindset. You have to be so honest with yourself in this. And if you feel like I'm really telling myself lies here, or I'm not being too honest with myself. And I know that because I'm saying that I'm going to use this, but I know for a matter of fact, I'm never going to use this again. It's so important to be honest with yourself because otherwise, lying to ourselves is not going to get us the results, but you're doing it for a reason. And the reason could be many things. Let's just say because there's a picture here with with a drawer full of makeup, let's just say someone doesn't wear any makeup. And
That's me.
yeah, but they have this makeup because a part of them used to wear makeup, or a part of them aspires to be that person who gets ready every day and wears makeup. So they're holding on to the makeup for the time that they might get ready and get dolled up and go out and wear makeup. So there's a discrepancy between parts of you that want one thing versus the other part that knows, let's be honest, we're just not going to wear the makeup. The same thing goes for literally everything in our space. Whether it's camping gear, whether it's old notes that you took in college that you swear you're gonna look through again, or you went through a conference and you binge took notes and you're like, these are so good, I'm definitely gonna reread these. I have a lot of clients who work in the government and they say, I'm definitely gonna read through my French notes again. And I'm like, are you really gonna do that? I do entertain people's stories because I think it's important. And then once people get into their storytelling as to why they need to keep things, they'll often just catch themselves and be like, oh, wow, I really told a story there. I'm like, yeah, you did. But what are you going to do with it? Are you still going to continue to keep it? Or are you going to give yourself the gift of getting rid of it? So, yeah, you can buy pretty containers and pretty bins and pretty binders to organize everything that you have. But if you don't need it, then it's just a waste of your time, space, money, and energy. Yeah. So, what are you all hoping to get from having a clutter free and organized space? What do you want more of in your life? Lots of people want more time to do things with their loved ones. Lots of people want to actually sit down for a meal with their family for once in a decade because their
Yeah.
table has been full of clutter and they haven't been able to sit down for a meal together and spend that time. Some people want to have more money, but they continuously keep spending money on things that they don't need. Some people want more energy just to wake up and feel energized and not look at piles of doom, clutter everywhere, or maybe just even mental bandwidth that currently the clutter is robbing from them because they're looking at this visual clutter for days on end. So, do any of these resonate with you? Maybe some, maybe all.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I know that if there's things in my life that are not going so great, whether I'm overwhelmed or maybe there's just too much happening or I'm feeling stressed out, there are areas that take a hit in my home and I know it and I see it. And when I look at it, I'm like, dang, I'm not doing too hot mentally. Because when I am, this is all great. But when I'm not, this is a space. So if any of you are dealing with situational clutter, and you know the cycles, it's almost good because those cycles could be showing up in your health instead. But instead, it's showing up in your physical space. Now, if it lasts long enough, it could show up in your body, in your physical health. That's where it could go to next. It could impact your relationships, it could impact your job, whatever it may be. But we're almost lucky that our mental clutter, our emotional clutter is showing up in our physical space versus our bodies. Because once it's out in the physical space, when it becomes too much, then it would go into our bodies in terms of health. Like I've had a lot of clients that have struggled with their health because their space has been disorganized for so long. Yeah. When you're gonna go and begin decluttering, and I apologize, like, you guys don't have to read these slides. I just put them here because otherwise I'll go off on a tangent for hours on end because I have ADHD and that's just what I do. I simply fact, every single time you decide to keep an item, what do you think that is? Every single time you decide, okay, I'm gonna keep this and I'm gonna keep that, I'm gonna keep that. Not only is it more stuff that you're keeping, but it's every single item is a tiny decision that your brain has to make. Not just make to decide whether you want to keep it or not, but then it multiply that across 100 items. You no wonder why you feel overwhelmed. And also, you had to decide, okay, am I going to keep it? Yes or no? Okay, fine, I'll just keep it. Might as well. Or I might as well keep it because I might need it one day and I don't want to have to go and rebuy it and I already spent money on it. So yeah, I'll keep it. But now where is it going to live? So sometimes people will be like, I don't know where it should go, so I'm just going to put it here for now. And then that pile of the put it here for now will grow. And then you're essentially restarting the process over and over again. That pile of stuff, papers, physical items, whatever it is, has accumulated hours over time of those tiny decisions that you've made. So before you even think about decluttering your space again, go back to asking yourself, why am I doing this to begin with? And what do I want as my outcome? And if you want more time, more money, more bandwidth, more physical space, more peace, more calm in your space and in your mind, making those decisions is going to be a lot easier. There typically gets to a point when I'm working with my clients, I call it the fuck it phase, pardon my language, but it takes a bit of time to get there because they had to be worn down a little bit in their mind of they've been saying yes to quite a few things. They realize the pile is growing and like, fuck it, just get rid of it. And I love when they get there, and I always try and figure out how can I get them to that phase even sooner because they're just responding with their truth. But in the beginning, they're responding with their fear and their scarcity mindset of I might need this one day. And so if you can get yourself into that effort state sooner, you're going to be a lot more honest with yourself. You can even just write it down if that feels good for you. I'm starting the day off with the, does anyone mind if I swear it's for all intensive purposes? Write down, I'm entering the fucking phase when I enter my space. And that's just that. There's no fear, there's no scarcity. It's just, this is what I want. And I'm not telling any stories to myself. I'm not justifying. I'm just getting rid of the stuff that I know I don't need. You got down with that? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Now, sometimes, again, I'm not going to go all into this. When you have a lot of clutter, your brain is going to see that as a task. It's going to see it as a decision that needs to be made or a task that needs to be acted on. And your brain will already start to begin to act on those tasks even before you touch this stuff. You might walk into your office and you see a pile of laundry. It's, oh my gosh, I have to fold that. Oh my gosh, I got to bring those donations to the drop off. Oh my gosh, I had to file those taxes. Your brain is already starting to shut down and feel tired even before you touch this stuff. So you can imagine why you would feel tired just by looking at your clutter because your brain is trying to figure it out for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you're waking up in a cluttered space, your brain is like, what? Let's just go right back to bed because I don't have enough bandwidth to deal with this today. So if you take naps throughout the day, it might be because your brain is mentally exhausted from looking at all of the to-dos. Sometimes people keep stuff because of an identity of who they wish they were, or who they miss being, or who they hope to be in the future, or who they thought they would be. Lots of people will hold on to clothes that they know very well don't fit them and they probably won't again because maybe I will get on that workout routine and lose the 20 or 40 pounds and be able to fit into these jeans again. And no judgment, we've all been there. Maybe craft supplies because you're like, I'm going to be a crafter. And you went out and you bought all the stuff. Maybe you bought the crocheting and the knitting or whatever it is. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Some people get into diamond painting, whatever it is. At least that's a little bit smaller. But the cool thing about people when they buy stuff, or a lot of people, especially like ADHD or multi-passionate people, is they go all in. They get this idea and they're like, I'm doing it. And I love those people because they have real big hearts and they just really go all in. The only downside of it is it just doesn't always last very long. And then they've gone on and they've bought all of the things to do the thing. And then the excitement wore off and they're like, maybe I'm just not that person who knits or crochets. but I'm going to keep it anyways because I spent the money on it. Again, going back to your goals and what you value, the money is gone. Okay. If you're being honest with yourself, and I thought I would be the person to do crafts, turns out I'm not. Oh, I tried. Move on. We don't need to sit in the space of, oh, but I really wanted to be that kind of person, or "Oh, I really had that dream." That's great. So take a moment to grieve the part of you that you thought you're going to be, and then give yourself the gift to move on. Is this resonate? Is there something that either of you have gone all in on and you realize you're maybe just not that kind of person who does that thing?
Well, the thing is sometimes it's 10 years or even 20 years and you're doing it. And then all of a sudden one day you look and you go, eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you look at everything and you go, oh shit.
Well,
Tapped into,
you can look at it and you can be like, wow, I was a pretty ambitious person. Look at me. I'm into all sorts of stuff. Isn't that great?
but it's not
So
organized.
it's all about reframing. You can look at it and be like, wow, I really spent a lot of money and I have commitment issues. Or you can be like, look at me. I really put myself out there and I tried. Go me. And turns out I'm just not that kind of person. Oh, get rid of it. Move on. We could be either person. It's all the frame of mind that we choose to look at the things. Guilt, guilt, shame, those kind of things will definitely not help you get rid of your stuff. But if you look at your space and you're like, meh, that's fine. It is what it is. Moving on. It's a lot easier to get rid of it. Now, it's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. But that's why you have me in your life to help guide you. A lot of my clients will say, I channeled my inner cast today and I got rid of a lot of stuff. That's fantastic. Do that. If you're to look at both of these desks for the people that are maybe listening, if this is on a replayer or not, that one picture is a desk with a bunch of crumpled papers and clutter. And I think there might be a laptop in there somewhere. Who knows? And the other one is just like a laptop and a phone and a notebook and a pair of glasses. And it feels wonderful. Which one are you more likely to get down and work, get creative, get stuff done, feel focused, and make stuff happen, essentially?
Yeah, you take the one that's all cluttered and you literally put it all into a basket. You move it off the desk over to the side where it won't be in your vision thing, and you get it to where it has the laptop and the
Yes.
glasses. And then by the time you're into it and you're actually working, then it's back to the other one.
Yep. Yep. That's it. That's why I have a no basket rule. Get rid of all the baskets. No, I do that sometimes, actually, Kim. My default is I take all the paper on my desk and I put it in a nice, neat pile and I put it on my floor beside me. It's great. Now I can think. It
But
doesn't
then it
solve the
calls your
problem.
name.
It doesn't solve the problem, at least for here. You could do what Kim suggested and take everything, put it in a basket or a bag, and I've seen that often. I would say probably avoid doing that at all costs, because you're gonna have to deal with it eventually. You could just suck it up with a giant shop vac and tie it with a bag and put it out at trash day on Friday and realize, I don't even know what was in there. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Probably wouldn't recommend that either. But if you can create some standards and some rules, non negotiables for your space, just as you might with your body, I guarantee you 99.9% of us, when we wake up at some point in the morning, we brush our teeth. Fair? Yeah, most of us. Great.
Yep.
Most of us brush our teeth before bed, and most of us, I would say probably everybody, goes to bed at night, and eventually we all wake up. We've put ourselves into a routine. That's just what we do because we practice it. The same thing should go true for your space, your desk. If you want to wake up and be excited to enter a solid workspace, you want to leave your space feeling really good. You want to do that for everything. Your kitchen counters, your kitchen table, your bed. Make your bed every day. I promise you it's going to make a huge difference. Hands up if you make your bed every day. It makes a big difference. When I started doing that, when certain areas are clear, it will automatically trigger you to want to clear the rest of the space. So if you can focus on having clear countertops and clear desk and clear surfaces, although I understand that's very difficult for people, if you can give yourself that gift, it will cause a positive ripple effect into all the other areas. Now, if you're someone that's, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just going to put it here for now. I want you to do something very abrupt to get yourself out of that. Whether you decide today that the interruption will be, if you catch yourself saying that, "Oh, I'm just going to put this here for now." As soon as you say that, I need you to like clap, I need you to jump or snap or scream or whatever to start interrupting that pattern and say, "No, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to go put it away or get rid of it." Either one. Can we make a pact that we're going to do that? Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. You don't need more storage space. Okay. You don't need to buy a bigger house. Sometimes people do, but oftentimes not. This isn't a matter of storage or cleaning. It's just a matter of a pattern that we're running. If you're someone who buys a pretty new notebook every time you have a new idea and you write in it for 4 to 7 business days and you realize it's not so new and cute anymore and need to buy a new one, that's a pattern. And I know that because I was definitely that as well. The thing about clutter is it's about how you make decisions and commit to things, and it expands to all areas of your life. If you have a hard time making decisions and committing to things in your physical space and with your physical clutter, chances are you had the same struggles in another area of your life as well, because what we do in one area, we tend to do in other areas. So it's really great that you have clutter because it will show you so much about yourself. That's why when I do a coaching with my clients, I'm not in there removing all of their clutter because that would be doing you a disservice. Now, of course, I have done that with clients, but for the sake of this workshop, that's not what I'm recommending. I suggest you just sit there and you cross your arms and you just look around and then ask yourself, what has been going on in my life and in my thoughts, with my emotions, with my relationships? Because your clutter can really talk to you. Is this sounding crazy or is this making sense? He yeah, I'm kidding. If you procrastinate on letting go or dropping donations off or whatever, chances are you procrastinate in other areas. If you feel guilty about tossing things, maybe you feel guilty about saying no in certain situations or relationships or in your life. Again, what we do in one area, we do in all areas. And clutter is impacting us in more areas than we think. So if it's in your office space, especially if you're self-employed, chances are it's hindering your bank account, which I love helping people with their clutter and seeing the money grow in their bank account as a result of getting rid of it, getting rid of the clutter, because there's so much we can do with money. But when you have less clutter, so much more gets better as well. More productive, you're less overwhelmed, you feel more calm, you're just happier in general. And when people declutter, even more things happen. Like when people are trapped in toxic relationships or toxic cycles, they tend to start to break those. Because again, our cluttered space is a result of the internal clutter. And so when we tackle the external clutter, we can then look at other things and be like, okay, if I can tackle that, then I can face the other things as well. Okay. So a lot of times people will feel like I don't have the time, I can't afford to get help, I can do this on my own. But if that was you guys, I feel like you wouldn't be here. And so I'm glad that you are, and I hope that you're getting value out of this. The thing is, if it's not about the physical clutter, like if you learned all the tools and the strategies and the paths and it's just not working, it means it's not the clutter. It's not the physical clutter. it wouldn't be helpful for me to come in and again clear out all your clutter without doing this internal work because it's just if someone was overweight and you just locked them up and cut them off from all the sugar and junk food and you're like, you can't leave until you lose all the weight and then they lose the weight and it's great. You did them a huge disservice because they haven't gotten to figure out why they gained the weight in the first place. So they not only are going to gain a lot of weight back, they're going to gain even more than they had in the beginning. That's why if someone's working with a hoarder, you don't just go in and take away all their stuff. You're going to cause damage. I'm not saying any of you here are hoarders or it's at that level. What I'm saying is if you tried to tackle your clutter in the past and it keeps showing up, it means that there's something deeper. And the great news is that I can help. I freaking love helping on that level because this is where the transformation, the long lasting results actually happen. I'm not here for the quick fixes. If you know me, you know that. I've seen clutter impact so many things in people's lives in the past, and it breaks my heart and also mends my heart when I know that when we tackle this, all of that can change. It can impact people's sex lives and relationships and date nights or finances, happiness, and overall fulfillment. It can even impact your health, your wellness, your mindset, your mental health, your business, your job. Hands up if if clutter is impacting any of these kind of areas in your life. Yeah, I know that it typically happens where in a relationship, there's usually one person that's more cluttery than the other. I don't know why that happens. Opposites attract or something, or so they say. All of it, all like clutter just takes away from us living a happy, fulfilled life. So again, back to why do you want to create the change and what are you willing to do about it? But then when this happens, it causes a positive ripple effect in your life. So when you're looking at your Spanx, again, look at it with curiosity. I wouldn't say just dive right in if it's been a problem for a little while. Ask yourself, what will my life be like if I choose to stay where I am right now with no change? Ask yourself, what could my life be like if I decide to put all bets on me, play full out, take inspired action towards my dream life, and start to tackle the clutter once and for all? Question you can ask or ponder is who do I need to ask for help in order to make this happen? And can I afford to wait another year, 5 or 10 years to actually create the change? Turns out time goes by pretty fast. Are you guys starting to understand clutter and how it happened, how it how it shows up and how it's more than just clutter, how it's pretty connected to what's going on in your life? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you could wave a magic wand and just get rid of clutter once and for all forever, would you want that? Yeah, so would I. I can't do that
Yeah.
for you though, sorry. That's not a promise I can make, although I wish I could. I'm sure some marketer out there would totally say, "I'm gonna eliminate your clutter problem forever." Everything requires
Prove it.
yeah, yeah, I could lock you up and throw everything out in your house and you could never own a thing again. There's always a way. But we don't want that. We just want to learn the tools and we want to learn the things in our minds that are causing this so we feel more empowered and more equipped to tackle our space. And even if and when our space becomes cluttered again, because let's face it, we're human beings. We're cyclic beings. When we break a cycle, the chances of things repeating itself are a lot less, but we have to figure out what caused the cycle to begin with. And once you have less, it's a lot easier to maintain, right? We can dive into questions if you guys have questions. What I do want to offer anyone watching this call is a 30-minute strategy call with me. And with that, who here wants a cleaner house? I think that I do for sure. I have a dog, so I don't want to get rid of her. Who here wants freedom from the mental load? Yeah. Who here wants more focus, more time, and possibly even more money? in their life. Yeah. And not all of you watching are business owners, but who here wants a business in life that feels uncluttered from the inside out? Yeah. So clutter that isn't the same for everybody, which is why I'm not giving a checklist on what to do, steps A to Z, because it just wouldn't be effective for you. In a one-to-one, I can help you uncover the patterns that are actually causing the clutter. What we might find is there's a lot more happening in there, which is causing this symptom to show up in other areas of your life as well. Clutter is the one that we can physically see, right? But there's other things that are happening on the inside of our mind and our bodies that we can't see. So clutter does it. I help people so that the clutter, it's at bay. Can I promise that it won't ever come back? No, because I can't force you to never buy things again, to never have things come back into your home again. But what I can promise you is I will help you figure out how your mind and thought processes work so that you have the tools and self-awareness to interrupt the pattern anytime you think about creating more clutter in your home in the future and in your life. Because when we start to understand our mind and the way that we think and the way that we act, we can start to make better choices. Because sometimes things are happening so on like subconscious level that we don't even know what's there. And that's why this stuff is so fun and exciting. Mind you, suffering and struggle is not fun and exciting, but it does lead you to doing this kind of work that you can uncover these things about yourself. Ultimately, everyone is different. Clutter is personal, and that's why I do one-to-one as well as my inner circle community. So, if either of you would like to have or anyone watching the replay, if you would like to book a free 30-minute strategy call with me, I can help you start to get unstuck from your space. If the clutter is more prominently showing up in your mind, we can focus there. We can figure out what's really holding you back and then create a clear next step. And if you feel like, okay, this is a great fit, I really want your help and I'd love to do work together, then that's an option as well. But we don't start there because not everyone is a great fit. And maybe you don't need me beyond that 30 minutes. Or maybe you're like, wow, let's do this. So if any of you do want to take advantage of that, Kim is already a private client of mine, but Kim will just tack on an extra 30 minutes to our time together. Okay, my friend? Because yeah, absolutely. If anyone else is wanting that, then of course drop a yes in the chat and then I can send you the link. Mental bandwidth. I'm seeing the comments now. Yeah. I'm gonna stop sharing because I think that was all that I wanted to share. Yeah. So let me go ahead and stop. Sometimes I'm not very good with stop sharing. Pause share. Stop video. All right, stop share. There we go. Now you can see me. Perfect. Do any of you have any questions? What I can do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. First off, I want to thank everyone who is on right now and watching the replay. If you want to redeem the free 30 minutes, I'm going to put a link. I'm going to attach a link so that you can sign up for that. I'm going to put a 2-week cap on it though. So you got to act. Take action. No more delayed decision making because what we do in one area, we do in other areas. So let's be decisive here. Let's take inspired action. If we want to create change, lasting change now, we're going to take action and book that call or we'll take action on our own. So thank you so much for being here. We made it to 8 o'clock. So that's fantastic. Wonderful.